Hello students. So students, we will continue with the previous chapter, that is matter around us pure. So far we have discussed about solutions, that is homogeneous mixtures, and the heterogeneous mixtures. Heterogeneous mixture of two types, that is colloids and the suspensions. So we discussed the properties of solutions, the colloids and the suspensions. And we also discussed the concentration of the solutions, the saturated solution, unsaturated solution, the dilute solutions and the concentrated solution, and we have practiced few numericals on this. Today we will discuss the methods of separation of different components of a mixture. Okay, you know that in the mixture the components can be separated. Okay, that is the difference between the compound and the mixture. Okay, now children, most of the substances around us are not chemically pure. Chemically pure means what? They are not chemically combined together. Okay, so they are generally mixtures which contains more than one component which are not chemically combined, like salt in water. Salt is present in water. Salt and water have not chemically combined to form some new substance. Okay, but salt is present in water and it retains the identity. Here salt in water, there are two components present. One is salt, another one is water, and both of them, they retain their properties. Salt has not chemically, or salt is not chemically combined with water to form some new substance. So that already we have discussed about compounds, elements and mixtures. Okay children, now so different methods of separation are used to get individual components from mixture, and separation of the components makes it possible to study and use the individual components of a mixture. Now children, heterogeneous mixture can be separated by very simple means like hand picking, sieving, filtration, which you have discussed in your, which you have studied in your lower classes also. Okay, now you know that there are different types of mixtures. There is solid-solid mixture, solid-liquid mixture, solid gas mixture, liquid gas mixture, gas-gas mixture. So there are different types of mixtures. Today we will discuss about solid methods of separation of solid-liquid mixtures. Okay, we will discuss the methods of separation of components in solid-liquid mixture. The components can be separated by any one of the following method, which are, that is filtration, crystallization, centrifugation, evaporation, chromatography and distillation. Children, how to obtain colored components from ink. Now the ink is a mixture. In ink, dye is mixed in water. Now how we will separate dye from ink? How we will separate dye of the ink from water? That can be separated by a simple process of evaporation. You can see in the slide also, or you can see in the picture. Okay, now children, here this is one experiment is set up. Here you take a beaker, you can see beaker, and fill it half with water. You fill half of the beaker with water, okay, and we call it as a water bath. Now about 5 ml of ink, blue color or black color ink, as you can see in the picture also, you take in a china dish. You can see over the beaker one china dish is placed, okay, and in this china dish you take a ink, okay, and below in the beaker you take water. The china dish containing ink is then placed over the mouth of the beaker containing water, as you can see in the picture, and which is kept on a tripod stand. You can see that beaker is kept on one stand, that is called as a tripod stand. And now the beaker is heated with a burner. What will happen? Soon the water in the beaker will become hot. It will start boiling and it will form steam, and this steam in turn will heat the ink which is present in the china dish. Understood or no? And due to that, what will happen? The water from the ink, it will start evaporating. Now when all the water has evaporated from ink, what we do? We stop heating, and we will find that a small amount of colored solid material is left in the china dish. I hope it's clear. The colored material is actually the dye which is present in the ink. Thus, the water has evaporated from the ink and solid dye is left behind. This experiment shows that ink is not a single substance or a pure substance, but it is a mixture. Ink is a mixture of dye in water. Have you understood? So, how you can separate ink from dye from water? Okay, in the ink. Now, children, then there is another method. That another method you can see in the slide also, to separate different dyes present in the ink. To separate different dyes which is present in the ink. Now children, this ink, dye of the ink, in the ink the dye is mixed in water, but that dye is not a single substance. That dye is a mixture of different dyes. Different dyes are combined together to form a particular dye which is mixed in water. Now, how we will separate the different dyes? Understood or no? Which is present in ink. So, that is done by a technique called as chromatography. Children, chromatography is the technique of separating two or more dissolved solids which are present in a solution in very small quantity. There are many types of chromatography, but the simplest form is paper chromatography. So, understood? So, in paper chromatography, you can separate two or more dissolved solids which is present in the solution in small quantities. Now, children, this separation is based on the fact that though two substances are soluble in same solvent, but the solubilities may be different. Maybe one component of a dye may be more soluble than the other component. Is it clear or no? Now what you have to do here, you take a thin long strip of filter paper as you can see in the picture. Now you draw a pencil line on it. Okay? You draw a pencil line on it and put a small drop of black ink on the filter paper strip at the center of the pencil line as you can see in the slide. Understood? Now, when the drop of ink has dried, the filter paper is lowered into a tall glass jar containing water in its lower part. I hope it is clear. You can see here the filter paper is dipped in the jar. Okay? In the lower part in such a way that the pencil line is at the bottom. Now the filter paper strip is held vertically by attaching the upper end of the glass rod with sellotape. Okay, kept in the mouth of the glass jar. Is it clear or no? Now lower end of the paper strip should dip in water, but the pencil line which is having the dried ink should remain above the water level. Is it clear? So when you are dipping the filter paper, in the filter paper you will draw the pencil line, and in that pencil line you will put one drop of ink which will be dried, and after that that paper having the pencil line is dipped in water, but it is dipped in such a way that the pencil line remain above the water. What will happen, children? It is a filter paper. So what will happen? It will absorb water. That water will go to the dye, and in the dye different colors are there. This dye is a mixture of different dyes. So different dyes will dissolve in water, but they will have different solubilities. Some dye will dissolve more, or they are more soluble as compared to other. So the dye which is more soluble, that will be carried by the water, that will be more soluble, and that will be carried fast by the water, and it will reach on the top of the filter paper. So in this way the different dyes can be separated. I hope it is clear or no? All of you? So the dye which is more soluble in water, what will happen? That will dissolve first, and that will rise faster in the filter paper and will produce the color spots. Sorry, as you can see here, that was a sample spot, and what happened? The filter paper absorbed water and the dye different components of the dye have different solubilities. The component which is more soluble will mix more in the water, and that will rise fast in the filter paper, and as compared to the other component, and the different components of the dye can be separated. Is it clear to all of you? This is called as paper chromatography. Now, what are the applications of chromatography? It is used to separate solution of colored substances. It is used in forensic science. It is used in forensic science to detect and identify traces of amounts of substances like poison which is present in the bladder or the stomach. So these are some of the applications of chromatography. Now you please look another picture, centrifugation. So another method is to separate the suspended particle from the liquid by the method which is called as centrifugation. Now children, centrifugation is the method of separating suspended particles, okay, of the substance from the liquid, in which the mixture is rotated at a high speed in a centrifuge. So here there is one machine which is called as a centrifuge machine, and the mixture is rotated in that machine and it can be separated. How we can do it, that I will discuss now. Can you see this centrifuge machine? All of you see in your picture. Can you see that there are holes, and in these holes the test tubes are kept? Okay. Now what happens here, the mixture of finely suspended particle in a liquid is taken in the test tube, and these test tubes are called centrifuge tubes. These centrifuge tubes is placed in the centrifuge machine. Can you see this centrifuge machine? So in these centrifuge tubes we take the mixture of a suspended solute in a liquid, that is taken and it is placed in the centrifuge machine. The holes here they have shown many test tubes can be placed. As you can see, many holes are present here. Okay. Now what will happen? And then the machine is closed and it is rotated at a high speed. So when it is rotated at a high speed, what will happen? The mixture in the test tube will also rotate. Okay. And as the mixture rotates around rapidly, the force acts on higher suspended particles in it and brings them down at the bottom of the test tube. Understood? So all the heavier particles will come and settle at the bottom, and on top will remain only the lighter particles or the liquid. Okay. And because the liquid is lighter, so the liquid being lighter remains on the top and the heavier particles will come at the bottom. And after that you can just separate it by filtration. Have you understood or no? Or by decantation, because the heavier particles will settle at the bottom and the liquid will come on the top. So after the centrifugation you can simply drain off the liquid. Is it clear? So you can see here, this is the centrifuge machine, and you can see here after centrifugation, you can see before centrifugation you can see the particles, suspended particles are there in the water or in the liquid, and after centrifugation they all will come and settle at the bottom, which is called as a pellet, and on top is the clear liquid which is called as the supernatant. So this can be decanted off. Now this centrifugation is used even to separate cream from milk. Children, milk is a suspension of tiny droplets of oil in a watery liquid. The process of centrifugation is used in dairies to separate cream from milk. Even you use it at homes also, even in the mixie also. You can separate cream from milk. That is churned in the milk is churned in the mixie at very high speed. It is rotated in the mixie at very high speed, and afterwards what you see? You see the solid mass. It comes at the bottom, and on top the liquid is present, and you can decant off that liquid. Understood? So in the dairies, how it is separated? The milk is put in a closed container in a big centrifuge machine. When the centrifuge machine is switched on, the milk is rotated. Okay, milk is rotated at a very high speed in a container, and due to this the milk separates into cream and a skimmed milk. The cream being lighter floats over the skimmed milk. It is then removed. I hope it is clear to all of you. You can even you even do at your homes also. The cream is separated from milk by centrifugation. Okay. So children, today we will do till here. I have given some questions to you, and those questions you will do in the during the class hours and show it to me. Okay. Thank you, students.